What did the Chinese communists think about an American being the first Chinese to win a Nobel Prize, the only one?
Well, I would say they were enormously proud because in the late 1870s, there were congressional hearings in this country about whether there should be Chinese immigration allowed. And there was a famous testimony by a so-called scholar who, this is recorded in the congressional records, that the Chinese people is undoubtedly inferior. And he supplied the scientific evidence. He measured the size of the brain of different racial groups and proved that the Chinese are definitely inferior. And this is deeply felt by the Chinese people. So I would say that if you want to ask what is the most important reaction to the announcement that my friend T.D. Lee and I won the Nobel Prize in 1957 in China, it was tremendous pride. And I can see this, I can sense it.
Ranked teenagers around the country, around the world, in 17 different countries. And what that study showed was that the United States ranked last in biology, 11th in chemistry, and 9th in physics. What are all of these facts and statistics say to you?
The kids from the Orient are more disciplined. They have a tendency to listen to the advice of their parents and their teachers and learn that you have to work hard before you can get some enjoyment. Here in America, the system is quite different. I'm not attaching any value judgment to this statement, but for example, my kids are born in this country. My wife is also originally from China.
You have how many children?
We have 3, 2 boys and a girl. They're all grown up now. I noticed that when they were very little, when I said, perhaps you should do this, they said, no, I don't want to do it. Why not? Because it's boring. Now, this concept that something may be boring and I don't want to do it does not exist with children in the Orient. Somehow, society is structured differently. They hear different things. They therefore do not have the idea that I have to find instant gratification before I would launch into something. While here, the kids all want to see something immediately, to see the point, and that's not oftentimes possible.
If your 3 kids had been raised in China instead of here on Long Island, how would their education have been different? What would they have heard, as you say?
I've speculated on this. I think they would be very different individuals today. Namely, they would be willing to be drilled. While here, it doesn't work. Of course, you realize that my wife and I tried to say to them that, look, this doesn't work. You've got to study hard. And I think they listened to it, but having grown up in this environment, they have a different set of values. So I think that in this respect, the educational system in the Orient has a great advantage, and the manifestation of that, one of the manifestations of that, is what you refer to in this report, that if you take high school kids and give them science or mathematics quizzes, then the American kids on average don't do as well. The other side of this coin is that the kids trained in the Orient tend to be too timid, tend to say that, my God, they have been all these sages, all these saints who have done this and that. Who am I? They are taught that there was Newton, there was Maxwell, there was Einstein. Who are you to challenge any of these great people of the past? This produces a quieting influence, but it produces too timid an attitude.
What does this do to them psychologically? To always respect authority, take the teacher's word for it, follow the given path?
It has good and bad elements to it. We see this very clearly among our graduate students. the graduate students from the Orient are more quiet, more willing to work, make very good grades, but are somewhat restrained from making imaginative leaps.
What do you think explains the fundamental difference? I mean, knowing that every culture is the product of particular forces that have been shaped over centuries.
Well, Bill, I'm not a sociologist or historian, but I like to speculate. I think America is a new country. It is a young culture. The spirit of the opening of the West is still with Americans. It's a very practical and individual-based kind of a philosophy that had worked in America for a long time, had been very successful, and the spirit is very much there. In the last 40 years, America has grown older too. So the respect for learnedness has increased. You see, Bill, there's a very ancient Chinese saying which goes something like this. If you know what you know and know what you don't know, that is true knowledge. That philosophy has had a profound effect on the Chinese system and on Chinese society. So you, as a child, would be scolded if you pretended you know a little bit more than you actually do. The advantage of this is that you are more solid. You don't open your mouth when you don't really know what's going on. The disadvantage of it is that you become afraid. I told my graduate students from China and from Taiwan that you must overcome this. You go to a seminar, and most of the time you don't quite understand what's going on. I told them, you don't have to be afraid. I go there, I also don't understand quite what's going on. But that's not necessarily bad, because you go there a second time, you find that you learn more. I call this learning by osmosis. The learning by osmosis is a process which is frowned upon in China. The reason that the Chinese graduate students are less daring is because they don't want to get mixed up with something which they only half know. But in frontiers work, it's always, of research work, it's always half knowing, half not knowing.
But given what you say, I would expect the United States to be in a stronger position scientifically. And yet we're told over and over again that we're becoming a nation of scientific ignoramuses.
The point is that the American system is capable to produce enough very good people to sustain this frontier's effort for some time to come. But the general level of scientific knowledge among the general population, that is where there's a great worry.
Why?
Because you look at Japan. How did they achieve the present industrial strength? They achieve it because they have more educated people, they have more people who have real knowledge, not just diplomas.
Real knowledge.
Yes. And they have more people who have learned science, they are more educated, and or in particular they are more scientifically educated. This is very clear. You look at all these tests that you are referring to, and the Japanese kids do extremely well. Yeah. Because they really learn in schools. And here, the kids don't learn in schools, mostly. There are a few very bright ones who somehow learn, even in this morass, and they are really brilliant, and they are nurtured by the American system of freedom, pushing for the individual achievements, and then they later rise to top and either achieve something as a big organizer or achieve something as a scientist, and that's what's sustaining the United States, and it will sustain it for some time to come. But this, however, modern society has to be built on a general population which is knowledgeable, which has the right drive, and that's where I think the American future has the greatest dangers.
What does it say to you that Japan, with half our population, produces twice as many scientists and engineers every year as we do?
They now want to forge ahead in basic sciences, which they did not pay that much of attention to compared to the applied areas
That's
in the last 40 years.
Basic science is where we've been so strong.
Yes.
So now they're coming after us.
Yes, and that's formidable. It's if you have 120 million people, there are bound to be a large number of very bright youngsters. And if you have money, and if you know how to organize, how to use them, how to encourage these kids to get into the fields where they can excel, they would do very well. So I would say Japanese basic science, as we said earlier, is not yet on the same level as the US, but I would think they are coming up very fast.
What does it mean to a society to lose its competitive edge in basic science?
I think in the sciences there is still the general belief that America is still tops. For America to lose that, I think it would be very bad. I'm not just speaking as a scientist myself. I think it would be very bad for the morale of the whole country.